Hello, Steelers Syndicate. I am Joe Rockey. I am the new host here that was selected to be the new host of this channel, and I thank you guys all for being with me here. I want to give people a little bit of a quick background in this first video about who it is that I am, why it is that I got selected, and all that fun stuff. First and foremost, I am a Steelers through and through. I have never lived more than 10 minutes from the stadium in my entire life. Now, granted, in different little directions around the city, but still always within 10 minutes of it. And I know that a lot of Steelers Nation has obviously left Pittsburgh, and that's totally fine. But when we're looking for what the fans care about the team, that's what I know. That's what I've been doing. In my professional life, I've been behind a microphone since 2017. I do 4 podcasts in total, counting this new one. And I just love talking about the Steelers. It's something that I do all the time. And I want to start off with the fact that I don't just listen to what they're saying, I watch tape. On one of my other podcasts, I break down the NFL film tape for every team around the league. So I have watched well over 1,000 hours of the coaches' film, not the part that CBS or Fox put out, but the actual coaches' film. And I can tell you from experience what is the difference between something the coaches were trying to do, what was the failure and execution of an individual player, or just flat out what was a bad concept. And I had this throughout the context of the entire league, not just the Steelers black and gold here. So I want to let that be known up front that I'm not just giving hot takes because I feel them. I can actually point to specific instances that this is what happened. Now, with that being said, I am firmly in the camp that Matt Canada is an inadequate offensive coordinator. I also know he is not the worst offensive mind in football. So when we talk about who could you replace him with to do better, lots of people. First off, Bill O'Brien comes to mind. He was available. He would have been great. Obviously, some other choice that we talked about during the year, bringing in Frank Reich, that was never going to happen. He was going to become a head coach. But there were lots of different options that could have led this team into a better direction. And I want to start with my mindset about what an offense should be to kind of go what Canada doesn't do, and really what Canada doesn't do in any scheme. My belief for an offense is that you should never have 2 receivers within 5 yards of each other when it is time to catch the pass. Now, this is not a belief that has been held throughout the Steelers under the Tomlin era. It is one of the things that I wish was different. It started really when we go all the way back to Bruce Arians being here, because Bruce Arians believed that Ben would find the right mismatch and he'd be accurate enough to get it in there. And when Ben was in his prime, yes, not fighting that. I'm talking about given the resources the Steelers have now. It's a rookie quarterback. And when we think about some really bad losses we had, I want to highlight that Jets game. It's the game where Kenny came in the second half. Trubisky got out in the first half. 4 interceptions were thrown that game across the 2 quarterbacks. All 4 of them hit one of our primary receivers' hands of that day and ended up being caught by a defender covering another receiver. First off, Deontay, right off his hands, right to the guy who was covering Claypool. Claypool, the exact same thing, just in reverse to Deontay's guy. The worst part of this game, and in the post-game press conference, is when Kenny throws the ball, quite frankly, a very good pass to Freiermuth, hits him in his hands as he's jumping, but it comes out of his hands, it gets caught by the guy who was covering George Pickens. So this is the starting point of why I believe you should not have receivers close together. The other, it makes it so much easier on the defense, is the bottom line. If you are telling people to go and find the windows, they're going to go to the same windows. And this is what happened the entire Jets game, happened a ton against the Patriots, and really the first half of the season before the bye week. And the culmination of this was against Philadelphia, because Slay at one point is covering 3 guys just with his presence. And the rookie didn't know what to do except for get sacked. We can play that Philadelphia game 500 times and we would lose all 5 of them. Our offense was not schematically capable of beating the Eagles, period. It wasn't. So I want to point out what's real and what's not. Now, the way that Canada does his offense is he gives what are called option routes to every receiver on the field, or at least the majority of them. So what you have is each individual receiver essentially acting in his own will to find a hole and hoping that it lines up within the confines of the drop back of Kenny Pickett. Now, the rest of the league realized that that does not work with a drop back system. That's why the shotgun has taken over the NFL, where quarterbacks no longer do the drop back. Like when we think about the Tom Zach or O'Donnell years, where, drop it back, fake the handoff, hit a play action. Now it's just shotgun. I'm standing around. I'm waiting. Someone will be open. I hit him with the ball. That's the concession that was made. And the problem with that is Kenny has to be seeing what the receivers are seeing. And this is such a young offense that mismatch is going to happen more often than not. This isn't Tom Brady freaking out at someone saying, you have to be here then, as all of his highlights are notorious for. This is, we just hope that we line up and make things work. The other thing that really needs to stand out with the Canada offense was we nearly had the worst third quarter offense in NFL history. And that is after you've had a chance at halftime to evaluate what the other team was doing and make corrections. That means that regardless of who the defensive coordinator was, basically Canada lost to them time and time again. We lost to New England because we didn't get a first down in the third quarter. We lost to the Jets for the same reason. We should have lost to the Bengals the first time for that reason. We did lose to them the second time for that reason. These are all failures of the scheme of Matt Canada, because you create some realizing that they're all going to these same spots. The defense creates artificial shell holes that they get sucked into, the receivers get sucked into, and then there's nowhere to put the ball. So, yes, I don't like Matt Canada because he's Matt Canada and no one should ever like the offense coordinator Steelers. I don't like Matt Canada because of the way that he draws an offense. It's just not efficient. And that is where I'm starting my first video as the new host of the Pittsburgh Syndicate. And to let you guys know in terms of comments and stuff, I will be reading them. I cannot promise I'm going to answer every single one of them out there. But what I will do is if I'm getting one that I think is a common thread or a really good point, I'm going to address that in a future video. So I do hope that you guys give me all the feedback, all the comments you can. Please share us with the rest of Steelers Nation. I want us to get out there and get big. And the more we do that is by sharing the love, telling other people about it. And like I said, if you guys got a specific topic or story you want me to hit on that I haven't talked about yet, put it in the comments. Because the next story that's coming up tomorrow is going to be how Baltimore is affecting our division by the way they are treating Lamar Jackson. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to be talking to y'all. And I love the fact that we get to be on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk all the time in a way where we're able to talk back, and it's going to be better than the one radio station that's just talking about Yinzers and never really bringing bases. There will be facts and knowledge brought to this in a way that it'll be meaningful. Hopefully it'll be entertaining for y'all, but it definitely will be well-researched information. You may not always agree with opinion, but I will be able to point out this is why I believe in this, so on and so forth. So with that being said, thank you for being part of it, and we'll be with you here for the next episode.